Hey guys, welcome to the video. In this video, we are going to look upon the instruction set of 8051 microcontroller. Instructions. These are the commands we are giving to the controller to perform a specific action. That is, by giving a set of instructions in an order, we can make the controller perform a complete task. This group of instruction which helps the controller to do a task is called a program. Now looking at these instructions, our 8051 microcontroller has an 8-bit processor and these can do operations on 8-bit opcodes. So totally this 8051 microcontroller can have 2 power 8 number of instructions, that is 256 instructions. So now coming into the structure of these instructions, these instructions will have an opcode that are mnemonic and a source operand. The first one there will be a destination operand and a source operand. So these instructions can be 1 byte or 2 byte or 3 bytes. In some cases there may be simply a mnemonic in the instructions, or in some cases there may be a direct address, or we can give the memory locations in the instructions. So these instructions can be 1 or 2 or 3 bytes. Similarly, we have 49 mnemonics in this 8051 controller. These are grouped into 5 categories. They are data transfer instructions, byte level logical instructions, arithmetic instructions, bit level logical instructions, and finally jump and call instructions. And now coming into these data transfer instructions, these are used to copy or exchange a data from one memory location to other. Now these instructions use immediate, direct, register and indirect addressing modes. It also uses indexed addressing modes and implied addressing modes. Now here this is the mnemonic. Move is the mnemonic and this is the destination address or location, and this is the source one. Now move a comma rn. We know that this is of register addressing mode, since we assess the register here. And now move a comma rn. This instructions move the data from the register or n to the accumulator. That n denotes 0 to 7 of the selected register bank. And the next instruction, move a comma direct. Direct indicates a direct address. We are giving a direct address here. This is the instruction of direct addressing mode. And move a comma direct indicates that the data must be copied from this direct address to the accumulator. Remember that these instructions move only copy the data from the source to the destination, and not completely move, that is delete the data from the source and copy to the destination. The data will be there as it was before in the source, and it will be also copied in the destination. And the next instruction is of indirect addressing mode. Here this array register will have an address in it. The data in that address will be copied to this accumulator. This add symbol denotes the indirect addressing mode here. And the next instruction is of immediate addressing mode, that is we are giving data immediately into the instruction and this data will be copied to the accumulator immediately. And the next instructions are move rn comma a, move rn comma direct, move rn comma data. Here we have used the register as the destination. So the data from the accumulator will be copied to the register, and the data given in the direct address will be copied to the register, and here the direct data will be copied to the register. And in the next 5 instructions we have used the direct address as the destination. So the data from these sources will be copied to this direct addresses, and these instructions are of indirect type. Here we have used the indirect registers as the destination one. So accumulator, the data from the accumulator will be copied to the address inside this register, and the data from the direct address will be copied to the address in this register. Here the direct data will be copied to the address in this register. And also we have no instructions like move rn comma rn. This is impossible. So for this type of application we use move. For any one, that is source or destination, we can use the register name, and for the other we should use the address of the register, that is like 05H or any other address to denote that register. And now this is to access external data memory through data transfer instructions. And to access external data memories, we have to use the opcode MOVX. And now in the first instruction, this RI will contain the external data memory location, and the data in that location will be copied to the accumulator. And the second instruction, DPTR. DPTR is a data pointer which points the external data memory location, and the data in that location will be copied to the accumulator. In third and fourth instructions, we have used these as in reverse. That is, these indirect register and DPTR as the destination and accumulator as a source. That is, data from the accumulator will be copied to these locations. And the next one is to access external program memory, and these instructions is of index addressing mode. Here in these instructions we use the opcode MOVC to access external program memory. Here we have used A plus DPTR. Now the data of accumulator and DPTR will get added and forms an external program memory location. The data from that location will then be copied to the accumulator. In the second instruction, we have used the program counter. This program counter will get incremented by 1 before it gets added to the accumulator, and then the data from that location will be copied to the accumulator. And the next instructions are stack instructions. In stack we use the instruction push and pop. On using push instruction, the stack pointer will get incremented by 1, and the data from this direct address, or we can also mention a register name in this. The data from that register or direct address will get copied to the location which is pointed by the stack pointer. And the next instruction is pop. Pop instruction. On pop instruction, the stack pointer will get decremented by 1, and the data of that location will get popped out from the stack, and that data will be copied to this direct address or a register. Here we can also use the accumulator, so that the popped out data will be get copied to the accumulator. And the next instructions are data exchange instructions. Since now we have seen the move instructions, that is, the data from one location will get copied to the another location. In these data exchange instruction, the data of both destination and source will get exchanged between them. So here XCH denotes exchange. Exchange A comma Rn makes the data of register Rn and data of accumulator get exchanged. And in the further instructions, A comma direct, the data of that direct address and accumulator will get exchanged. Here this RI register will have an address in it. The data of that address will get exchanged with the data of the accumulator. And the next instruction, XCHD A comma at RI, exchanges the lower nibbles of the accumulator with the internal RAM location specified by this register. For example, nibbles in the sense the bits 0 to 3 bits and 4 to 7 bits. Here let us assume that accumulator has the value of 36H and this RI register contains the address of an internal RAM location, namely 20H. Now this 20H location has the data of 75H. On this instruction XCHD A, at RI, we get the result as A has 35H and RI has 76H. Only lower order nibbles of this accumulator and the address stored in the RI will get exchanged. That is, this is the data of 20H, not RI. And the next type of instructions are byte level logical instructions. We know that logical instructions are AND, or, exclusive, or, not, and etc. These instructions ANL, OR L, and XORL perform the logical functions AND, OR, and exclusive OR on variables indicated and leaves the result in first. That is, the first operand we are indicating in this instruction. And also these instructions perform logical operation on byte level operands. ANL destination, source. Here ANL A, RN performs AND operation between the data of accumulator and this register and stores the result in the accumulator. Here AND operation will be performed between the data in this address and the data of the accumulator, and the result will get stored in the accumulator. Similarly, this is indirect addressing mode. Here the direct data will be logically AND with the data of the accumulator, and the result will get stored in this accumulator. In the next instructions, the result will get stored in the direct address given in the instructions. And the next one is OR. So here logical OR operation is performed between the given operands and the result will be stored in the destination variable. So the next one is XORL. Similarly, here exclusive OR operation will be performed between the operands and the result will be stored in the destination variables. And the instructions clear accumulator will make all the bits of accumulator to 0, and complement accumulator will perform once complement operation on each and every bit of the accumulator. Arithmetic instruction. The next division is arithmetic instructions. The arithmetic operations include increment, decrement, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and other decimal operations. Here, first, when we look at the incrementing and decrementing, we have INC as the opcode in incrementing operation. This increments the data by 1. Now, on incrementing 0FFH, it will goes to 00H, and the next one is decrement byte. Here the data will get decremented by 1, and on decrementing 00H there is no number less than that, so it will automatically goes to 0FFH. The data given in this register or the data given in this address can be decremented by these instructions. And the next one is addition operation. We use the opcode add to perform addition operation. Here the data of the accumulator and the data inside the register will get added and the result will be stored in the accumulator. Similarly, the data of the given direct address will be utilized for addition, and this is an indirect addressing mode. Here the data of the address which is stored in this register will be added to the data of the accumulator and the result will be stored in the accumulator. And in the next instruction, we know that the direct data will be added to the accumulator and the result will be stored in the accumulator. Here in these instructions, the flags like carry flag and auxiliary carry flag will be set or left free based on the result of these instructions. For example, if there is an overflow in bit 7, then the carry flag will get set, or if there is an overflow in bit 3, then auxiliary carry flag will get set. Here, even though there is an value in carry and auxiliary carry flag, this addition operation ignores that values. But the next instruction, add C, this is an opcode. This indicates add with carry. This adds the number along with the carry. So if here is an instruction add C a comma rn, this will add the data of the accumulator and the data of this register along with the carry. So similarly, the next instruction will perform addition for the given operand and also for the carry. And the next one is subtraction. Here we have sub B as the opcode. This indicates subtraction with borrow. We see that all the destinations are accumulator. So by this we can understand that any other variable can be subtracted from accumulator in these instructions. Okay, now sub B subtracts the indicated variable and the carry flag together from the accumulator. And also the result will be stored in this accumulator. Now this instruction sets the carry flag if there is a borrow needed for bit 7, and also it sets the auxiliary carry flag if there is a borrow needed for bit 3. Otherwise it will clear the carry flag or auxiliary carry flag. If we do not know the condition of the carry flag before starting the subtraction operation, then we should clear the carry flag by the instruction clear C before the operation to get the correct result. And the next instructions are multiplication and division. We have the instructions mul AB and div AB. This instruction mul AB multiplies the unsigned integers, unsigned 8-bit integers from the register B and the accumulator, and stores the result by this way. That is, it stores the lower order value in the accumulator and the higher order value byte in the B register. For example, let us consider that accumulator has the value of 50H and B register has the value of 0A0H. On multiplying this, we get the value of 3200H. Now this 32 will be stored in accumulator and this 00 will be stored in B register. That is, B register will be set to 0. And the next instruction is div AB. This instruction divides the unsigned 8-bit integer in the accumulator by the unsigned 8-bit integer in the B register. So the result will get stored both in the accumulator and B register. That is, the quotient part will be stored in the accumulator and the remainder part will be stored in the B register. The next one is decimal arithmetic. This instruction DAA means decimal adjust accumulator for addition. This instruction adjusts the 8-bit value in the accumulator resulting from the earlier addition. We know that the result of addition will be stored in the accumulator, and this instruction performs some operation on these result. So this will be very useful in case of BCD addition. It will check the result in the accumulator. That is, it will check the lower nibble, that is from 0 to 3 bits. If the lower nibble is greater than 9 or the auxiliary carry flag is set, then it will add a number 6, hexadecimal number 6 to the lower nibble, and it will check the higher nibble, that is from the bit 4 to bit 7. It will check the higher nibble, and if that is higher than 9 or the carry flag is set, then it will add the number 06H with the higher nibble. Okay, now let us go with an example. Assume that A has the value of 55H and B has the value of 68H. Also the carry flag has the value of 1. Now on the instruction add C A comma B, the result will be BDH. Since we have 55H has 0101, 0101 and 68H has 0110 and 1000. Now on adding this, we get the value of BDH, and also both carry flag and auxiliary flag are not set, so these are in 0. So now this instruction DAA will check the result that is stored in the accumulator. Now on checking the lower nibble, this is greater than 9, so it will add the value of 06H with it, and so the result will be 3. Now on checking the higher nibble, this is also greater than 9, so it will add the value of 06H plus 1. Since I am adding D plus 0, 6, will get the result 3, and also the auxiliary carry flag will be set here. Now on adding this value in the auxiliary carry flag with this value, we get the value of 1, 2. This is the carry flag value. So now here carry flag is also set, and we get the result 2. So totally now we get the BCD result as 124 here. Okay, this is about this DAA instruction. Now the next instruction divisions are bit level logical instructions. Before this we have seen the byte level logical instruction, which involve operation on byte level instructions. Now here we have operations on these bits. So first two instructions are clear C and clear bit. Clear C will clear the carry flag, that is it makes the value of carry flag as 0, and next one is clear bit. We know that we have bit addressable memory in our internal RAM of 8051. Those bit addressable memory can be addressed individually for bits. So here for example, if we do clear P1.0, this will make the 0th bit of the port 1 clear. And the next instructions are set C and set B. These make the carry flag and the indicator bit set to 1. The value will be 1. So in the next two instruction, it will be the data in the carry flag and the mentioned bit will be complemented. That is, if it is given if it has 0, then it will be changed to 1, and if it has 1, then it will be changed to 0. And in the next instruction we have AND logic and OR logic. So here we are indicated the carry flag here, and also we have indicated a bit here. We can give the address of the bit here, or we can mention like port 2 comma second bit, like that, so that the two datas, that is the data in the carry flag and the data in this mentioned bit, will undergo an AND operation, and the result will be stored in the carry flag. So here this slash mentions the complement of the bit. So on this instruction, the data in the carry flag and the complement of the data in this mentioned bit will undergo AND logic, and the result will be stored in the OR flag. So similarly, we have move instructions in the bit level data. So we have given the carry flag and indicated the address of a bit, so that the data of this bit will copy to this carry flag. And the next instruction, the data of the carry flag will be copied to this directly mentioned bit here. And here there is the rotate and swap instruction. This instruction RLA indicates rotate left accumulator. We have a 8-bit accumulator in 8051, so we have the bits from 0 to 7. So now on this instruction, the data will be moved left to 1 bit. So the data here will be moved to here, and the further data will be moved like this. So the data in the 7th bit will automatically move to the 0th bit. Now here RLC, on this instruction, here we are including a carry. So now here we have 8 bits in this accumulator, and it will be transformed in left direction by 1 bit, and the data in the 7th bit will be moved to this carry, and the data in the carry will be moved to this 0th bit. So and the next instruction is rotate right accumulator. This instruction will do this operation in an opposite direction. So the next instruction will include carry for rotate right accumulator. Swap A will swap the nibbles of the accumulator. So it will swap the 0 to 3 third bit is one nibble, and 4 to 7 bit is another nibble. It will swap the data of these nibbles. So on the next division of instructions is jump and call instruction. And these jump and call instruction change the flow of the program from one place to another by changing the contents of the program counter. We know that program counter contains the address of the next instruction to be executed. And by changing the contents of the program counter, we can alter the flow of the program from one place to another. So now here we have jump and call instructions. Before getting into that, let us see the jump and call program range. Now we have 64 kilobytes of program memory, external program memory in 8051. So on long jump, that is LJMP, and long call, the range will be the whole 64 kilobytes of memory. So here by range we mean that the difference between the present address and the address we are going to change. Now in LJump and LCall, we can access the whole 64 kilobytes of memory. That is, we can jump from 0000 to FFFF and in between any memory location. And in AJMP, that is absolute jump and absolute call, A call, we can jump between a range only. That is, this 64 kilobytes of memory is divided into 32 parts, each of which are 2 kilobyte. So now we can jump within this limit. This can be any limit between in this 64 kilobyte. So if this is the 64 kilobytes of memory from 00000 to FFFF, then it is divided into 2 kilobytes of memory from 000 to 07FF. H. So this is of 2 kilobyte. Similarly, further divisions will be there, and so we can jump or call or change the flow of instructions only between these limit. And the next one range is short jump. This is between the relative range of address, that is, this will have 256 bytes. That is, we can go forward or backward in this. So if we start from 0, we can go forward up to 127 bytes, and we can come behind up to minus 127 bytes. So this is the range of short jump. We can perform operations, that is jump and call, in between these relative range address. So now we have AJMP address 11. Since we have 2 kilobytes of memory here in the absolute jump, we can mention that address within the 11 bits. So here we are giving the 11-bit address in this instruction directly. By this itself we can assess the memory location we are performing the operation. And the next one is long jump. Here we are using the complete 64 kilobytes of memory, and so we need larger number of bits to mention the address in the instruction. So we are using 16 bytes to mention the address. And the next one is SJMP. Here we are using the relative address to jump in the relative range. And the next one is jump at A plus DPTR. Here the contents of the accumulator and data pointer will get added, and the result will be loaded in the program counter, so that it can change the flow of control to that address. And the next instructions are conditional jump instruction. That is, if there is a condition satisfied, then the jump will occur, or else the further instructions will be proceeded. Now JZ relative address indicates that if the accumulator is 0, then the instruction should give the flow of control to the given relative address. So if all bits of the accumulator are 0, then this jump will happen. And the next instruction is JNZ relative address, that is jump if not 0. If accumulator is not completely 0, then it should jump to this relative address. If any of the bit of the accumulator is 1, then this jump will be happen. And the next instruction is JC relative. This is jump if carry is set to the relative address. By the instruction itself, we know that if carry flag is set, then this jump should happen, or else it should proceed the next instruction. And the next instruction is JNC relative address. So if carry flag is not set, that is carry flag contains the value of 0, then this jump will occur. And here JB bit comma relative address. Here we are addressing the bit directly. That is, we are given a bit in this instruction. This instruction will check whether the bit is set or not. If the bit is set, then it will jump to the relative address, or else it will go on proceeding the next further instructions. So check if the bit is set, and if it is set, jump to the relative address. This is the meaning of this instruction. And these are the next instructions. Here we have J and B bit comma relative address. If this bit is not set, then jump will happen here. And here we have JBC bit comma relative address. Okay, now on this instruction, it will check the bit whether it is set or not, and it will jump if the bit is set to this relative address, and also clears this bit which is set if the bit is set. Okay, making this clear, if this bit is set, then it will jump to this relative address and also clears the particular bit, and if it is not set, then it will go on proceeding the next instructions. And here this is the compare and jump if not equal. It will compare the destination and source. If it is equal, then it will proceed next instruction, and if they are not equal, it will jump to the relative address. Here we'll also mention the relative address here, and if they are not equal, it will jump to this relative address. And the next instruction is decrement and jump if not 0. We are giving a direct byte here. This instruction will decrement this byte. If this byte is 0, it will go on proceeding the instructions. If it is not 0, then it will jump to the relative address. Decrement and jump if not 0. And the next one is no operation. This instruction, as the name suggests, it will do nothing. That is, it will not affect any of the registers or flags. Only program counter will do its work as always. So now this will be mainly used to produce delay. And we have call instructions. We'll have subroutine programs in some operations. We'll call the subroutine program intermediate, and we'll execute that, and after that we'll get out of that program to our original program. And now this absolute call will make the subroutine program in absolute range. As I said, it will be only between 2 kilobytes range. That is, it can be between 0002 07FF and 07FF to the next 2 byte, and the further 2 kilobytes it will be going on. So this can change only between that limits. So the subroutine program must be also within that limit. And the next instruction is lcall address 16. That is, this can call in the complete 64 kilobytes of memory, and here the address will be 16 bits. Now return means, this instruction means return. This instruction makes the flow of control from the subroutine program to our original program, and this is return from interrupt. We know that we have interrupts, we can give interrupts in 8051. So if we are running with the interrupt, then we can get out of that interrupt from this instruction, by this instruction return from interrupt. Okay, these are something about the instructions of 8051. And for more newer videos from our channel, click the subscribe button and also click the bell icon for notifications. Thank you guys. Let us meet in the next video.